Good morning, fellow travelers. It is day 3. We are docking in Cozumel in about an hour. It's 7:30 now. And I had room service deliver me breakfast. It was one of those things you could hang on the door. And it's funny because you always, look at it and try and figure out which time to choose. And then I'm like, well, if I say this time, usually they'll come early. Unless, of course, you absolutely need them to come early, right? But I was right this time. I chose that I wanted it to be here between 7:38, and so I got up at 7, and at 7:05, they called me and said they were on the way with the breakfast. So that worked out. I really don't want to be dragged out of bed because my breakfast gets here too early. Anyway, we're going to Mr. Sanchos, and if you're not familiar, it's an all-inclusive, and the way it works is that you make a reservation on their site, which is highly recommended. It's not required, but when there's more than one ship in port, it gets pretty crowded. And so if you don't have a reservation, you might get turned away if they're full. So you pay $5 down for the reservation on the website, and then when you get there, you pay the balance. And I believe the total price is $55, so you're paying $50 when you get there. And that is... Oh, and it's about a $17 to $25 cab ride from the pier, depending on which pier you're coming from. And that's each direction, and it's not ship booked, so it will not wait the ship if you miss the connection. So make sure that you come back in plenty of time in case there's a mishap. So our ship is supposed to be sail away at 3:30, and so we're planning on heading back at 2 o'clock. Just give it a cushion. It's a good idea. So I will let you know how today goes. You first walk into the resort, and there's like little sort of a gate or whatever that you just, you go through, and then over here there's people selling things, and over here there's people selling things, and then you keep walking down the path, and you get to the registration area, and they have to make sure you print your receipt. I mean, when you paid the reservation, so print that out, actually physically print it, and show it to them, and then they will take the balance that you owe, and they will have someone escort you to your table, and that will be your base of operations for the rest of the time you're there. Oh, so
very
good.
These are the fish tacos. They're good too.
This is the spa area. Not gonna film the people getting treatment. Back there is where our table is. You can see that the sky has gone quite cloudy. And they're doing construction on the... Looks like they're building a new walkway through here. Going down in there. So that'll be nice when that's finished. This is the spa suites area. It's the spa area. And the suites, I guess, too. Yeah, you can stay overnight here, or you can rent it for the day, I believe.
This is the adults only pool with its lovely swim-up bar. We sat in the swim-up bar, but we haven't sat in the swings, so we're going to go over and see about those swings. I know! This is the second thunder I've heard so far.
Okay, I could probably...
I want to take
I'm
a
going to put my...
shot of the swings. Yeah, we've got these swim-up bar here, and you can sit on swings if you want. And then they've got a nice shaded area here as well with loungers. happens when it starts to pour at Mr. Sanchos. Over there we have some nice views. Oh yeah, that's storm. And the wind just kicked up in the third quarter.
Hello, fellow travelers. It is the evening of day 3. We were in Cozumel and we went to Mr. Sanchos. This is my first time at Mr. Sanchos. I had a great time. It was me and my sister, and Peggy was with us. If you've ever been to Cozumel, it is the one place, it seems like, where you can see 2 ships just right there side by side. And next to Liberty, which I'm on, was the Allure of the Seas. And it always strikes me when I see them how big those ships are. And I haven't seen Wonder yet, and I understand it's bigger still, but yeah, Allure she's a big lady, and she makes her little sister Liberty look quite petite. We also had the Carnival Paradise in port, although she was at the other dock. And so we could sort of see her in a distance, you know. But yeah, the one thing that kind of struck us when we first got off the ship and sort of rounded that corner after you were between the ships was how clear that water was. You know, we looked out there and we were looking down, and there was some seaweed floating just a little bit. And there were this whole school of fishes just having a great time with that seaweed. There must have been something tasty on there. Anyway, back to Mr. Sanchos. So we walked through the port. We also wanted to hit a couple of the pharmacies to do some pricing. My companions wanted to get a few things. And it's very important to actually compare prices if you are doing that, because there's multiple pharmacies in the same area. There was, I think there's more than one that's actually in the port shopping, and then as you cross the street, right across the street from the port, there's one, and then there's another one like down the street just half a block or so, and another one like up a block. So, you know, if you're looking to make a purchase, it's always worth comparing their prices, because some of the prices can vary widely. The price that my sister settled on for what she was getting wound up being 40% less than what we were quoted at the pharmacy at Mr. Sanchos. Yes, they also have a pharmacy there. So yeah, it's worth knowing your prices and knowing whether you're getting a good deal. And you have to pay attention if it's a medication. You have to pay attention to milligrams. You have to pay attention to pill count. And so you just sort of come armed with what you're looking for before you actually go. Okay, so much for that. We got into a cab. The cab line was fairly long, kind of snaked around. And the taxi was $17 to get there, and of course tip. And then He let us off, and I was kind of wondering how it was going to be to catch a cab back. But when we came back to leave, it was 2:30. And the ship all aboard was going to be 3:30, so I figured that was a good cushion for something that was really only 15 minutes away. And there were tons of taxis in that parking lot waiting for people to pick up, because I'm sure that, you know, within certainly half an hour, a lot of the people who were on the cruises, if they were on the same ship as me, they would probably go. But then I don't know what time the all aboard was for Allure and for Paradise. But yeah, it can get extremely crowded. Now, speaking of crowded, once we got back to the ship, or rather, once we got back to Cozumel, there was a good line at security. It was moving quickly, but I've been coming back when there was something as another ship as big as Allure and us in port plus others, and it can get a really long line there at security trying to get everybody through if the all aboard times are similar for both ships. So just kind of factor that in. Granted, if you're in the line, they probably aren't going to leave without you until they clear the security lines, but you don't want to be a pier runner either, so there's that. And we got a table. Let's see, I think it could have sat 4 or 6 depending on how many chairs you had. But there were easily places for 6 people on it. There was also an umbrella above it. It was right up next to one of those beds, the beds you can rent as well. And those looked nice. I don't know how much they were because I really didn't want to sleep. But it's something that they have. They also have other tables that are... So our table was kind of the makeshift plastic table, plastic chairs, regular umbrella that you put sand in the bottom to sort of keep it in the wind from blowing away. There were others that were actually permanent structures, and they had thatched roofs with palm fronds, so that was kind of cool. But we didn't get one of those. I suspect those go quickly. Probably the first come, first serve kind of thing. And it turned out to be a little bit important later because we actually got rained on pretty good. The first half of the day was sunny, a little bit of breeze. The sun was going in and out of the clouds. The beach was great. You know, it's always my favorite to go into the pool rather than the beach. They have 3 pools. So the way the pools work, swim up bars in 2 of them, of course. One of them is kids are allowed, so it's sort of the family's pool, and the other one is adults only. And they're just about the same size, I would say. And then there's a third pool that's just for the kids, and it's a shallow pool, and they're all, you know, having a good time there. And then for food and drink is included, and they have a menu you can order off of, or you can go to any of the buffets. There's 2 buffets, possibly 3. There were people, you know, they had food set up all over the place. But our waiter was David, and he came and took our order and brought us drinks and brought us chips and salsa and guacamole, and later on we ordered off the menu for our lunch and the drink. You know, he kept coming by to refill drinks and everything, and the drinks I would say are fairly weak. The only thing, my goal was not to get drunk. But one of the drinks they have on the menu is a Long Island iced tea. So I suppose if your goal is to get drunk, you can do it that way. But I don't know, water and too much alcohol would be a bad mix. But it was a lot of fun, and we had a great time. It was very relaxing and just what we needed. I set an alarm for 2 o'clock or 2:30 so that we'd know that it was time to start heading back, and went back to the ship, and everything was very smooth. Tonight I did dinner in Johnny Rockets, which is an upcharge, but it's $14.95 I think or something. It's not very much. And their food is good, and their floats and their shakes are good, and it's just fun. You know, the waiters dance when certain songs are played, and it's a fun atmosphere. You know, it's a diner if you haven't seen it. So I enjoy Johnny Rockets. So anyway, I saw the ice show. It's called Encore. That was very good. It started out a little slow, but it got really good. And so that was a lot of fun. And then they had, the movie tonight was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse. And I hadn't seen that one. I've seen a lot of those movies, but I hadn't seen that one. So I thought, well, why not? I wasn't aware that the resolution of what they are projecting is not as good as actually in a theater, but it was still not bad, you know. So tomorrow I am going to go on an island tour and visit a turtle research center. And I believe we get to swim with the turtles. So I've never done that before. That should be fun. It is Georgetown, Grand Cayman that we're going to. So I will let you know what happens. Solo Sue signing off.